What's up, everybody? How's it going? It's Thursday. How did it get to be Thursday already? I am waiting for my beautiful friend, Dr. Kim Schwabenbauer, to join us, and we're going to do some Q&A. She is the one that is authored our high protein meal plan. So if you guys are curious about anything regarding nutrition, fitness, she is your girl. I'll wait till she gets on here to embarrass her with all the edification. But she really is something special. We went to high school together, and she is just an astonishing human being and has accomplished so much. She's going to join here in just a second. So be thinking of a couple of questions that you have burning about how you eat, how you prioritize your nutritional diet, what macros if you even know what a macro is, if you want to talk about fitness, if you want to talk about anything. She and I are going to start tackling some of these things. So we have done this meal plan bundle twice now. This is our second time, our second iteration. And she is just so amazing. So I'm just going to wait for her to pop on. Hopefully she'll get, here we go. View request. Hi from Kentucky. Yeah. Drop where you're joining from. We love hearing that. Okay.
I'm here. Hello. How are you, Katie?
How are you?
Sorry, it took me a minute.
That's okay. That's okay. I wanted to wait until you were on here so that I could embarrass you with introducing you.
Very much like you. Very always edifying, building up of other women. Totally like you. Totally fits your profile. You're very sweet.
Well, I'm so thrilled that we've done this again. It's just such a fun collaboration. So for all of you guys at home, Kim and I went to high school together, and, I went off and did my thing, and we actually attended the same university too. And, she became this world-class, professional triathlete, done 1 million Ironman marathons, regular marathons, lots and lots of, and the thing that I think is so incredible is that was her living. Like, she earned a living doing these competitions. Like, companies would pay her to wear their stuff. And she was like the OG influencer, but in the athletic world. So she was making the bank off of her hard work and blood, sweat, and tears, which is amazing. And putting herself through school, got a doctorate degree. She's a doctor, which is so awesome. She teaches, she's a professor at a university right now. She also has spent 2 seasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers, kind of honing the dietary needs of those big time professional athletes. And I think that it's one thing to fuel yourself for athletic performance, and then it's another to be tasked with fueling athletes to perform at such a high level. I mean, these bodies are worth millions of dollars, right? They're worth millions of dollars. So you have to fuel them so they perform, fuel them to prevent injury, fuel them so they get adequate rest. I mean, there's all sorts of tools that you can use with what you put in your mouth that's going to help impact each of those categories, which is really, really very scientific and a lot of responsibility. So, reconnecting with Kim later in life and being like, hey, you wanna write a meal plan for my followers? She was like,
so cool though.
No,
such a great opportunity. And I'm just so thankful that we're still getting to collaborate and do things together. And we just want to help people. That's what you want. Right. That's what I want. I just want to see people's lives impacted. I want to see women feel strong. I want them to be empowered. I want all the same things that you do. And that's why I love following your channel and all the things that you're doing. And you obviously have created amazing humans with your children, and they are now athletes, crazy athletes doing amazing. So you know what it's like. It really does matter what you put in your body. 100%. And so that's where it starts. 100%. That's where it starts.
Yep. I love telling, well, first of all, I say all that to this audience just to say, we don't deserve you. This mind that we have, this beautiful mind, and this your career, and the culmination of that, putting that into something that we can consume and digest, that's authored by you, is just a gift to all of us. So I hope you guys will take us up on just taking a peek at this meal plan. I'll show it to you. If you comment the word health, let me do this.
Yeah,
Kim, talk for just a second.
sure,
I'm gonna type
absolutely.
this in as a comment, and I'll pin it so that everybody knows how they can get their hands on this. Just
Yeah,
touch quickly on what it
sure.
is that they're getting.
Absolutely. Here's how I have it. I know Katie does it in the binder, which I like as well. And basically, what it is 4 weeks of your guide to breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. So basically, it has everything laid out about what you would eat for breakfast, and there's options. While it does lay it out into each week, and also have the grocery list to go with it, so you can follow it that way and just do literally each week, go to the store, have the ingredients that you need already laid out, everything already, planned out for you, and then following it by breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack. Or I've really designed it to have some interchangeability. So most of the breakfasts are in a certain calorie range. If you're a person who's just like, I need a smoothie in the morning because a smoothie is easy for me. If I can make this smoothie, I know this is going to work for me, then go with the smoothie. That has, a calorie range that works for other days as well. So there's some ways to use it that way, including maybe you're not a Greek yogurt person. Well, then choose more protein breakfasts that have the eggs and things like that. But it's basically centered around protein, because women do not get enough protein. On average, the women I work with do not eat enough protein. And a guide just to get started is 1 gram per pound body weight, which, think about, if you're anywhere between 120 and 170, 200 pounds, we're talking quite a bit of protein, and most women don't achieve it. The diets that I look at usually are around 50 grams of protein per day, and roughly half, or not even half, of what someone needs per day. And what protein does is really make you feel satisfied. Protein keeps you from eating the junk that you should not be eating,
That's
the
so
overly
true.
processed foods, the
That could not
sugar.
be more true.
Yes, it
Protein
makes you
keeps you
feel
full.
satisfied. What'd you say?
Yes.
Yes,
It keeps you full. It
it
keeps you
does.
not wanting to reach for the pita chips or the pretzels or the thing that are just like empty carbohydrates that have no nutritional value in them. I mean,
That's it.
that's
It
it.
does. That's the point of protein. Not only that, if you are doing any kind of activity, protein helps you rebuild the muscle that you already, tore down where you're working out. And we lose about 1 to 2% of our muscle mass per year past about age 30. So we need to maintain that muscle mass like there is no
Yeah.
tomorrow. So as females, protein needs to be a focus. If you have any goal to either adjust your body composition, lose weight, feel stronger, make gains in the weight room, all of those things are enhanced by protein, and high quality proteins, which is what this meal plan
Yeah.
provides, meaning that it has the 9 essential amino acids in things like beef and salmon and tuna and turkey, and some dairy is in there as well, also a great source of essential amino
Mhm.
acids. So that's what this is really focused on, along with fiber from fruits and vegetables, which is the other area that we sometimes tend to not get enough of, even though we know how important they are, to have enough
Yeah.
fruits and vegetables in our diet. So it's really a whole food based plan that can help you to not take the guesswork out of it. You don't have to think about it. You can literally just follow it, and you're going to be somewhere in the range of 1,600 to 1,700 calories per day, about 120 to 140 grams of protein per day. So it's covering a lot of
So
the
good.
needs for the women in that range. And then great fiber, good healthy fats through olive oil, nuts and seeds, all of avocado, all of the things that you hear about with those really, really good fats for your skin, for your hair, and just for your overall cardiovascular health. So, and it's a moderate amount of carbs. So the only thing I would say is that the carbs are not for probably somebody who's training for a marathon. The grain-based carbs are for someone who is trying to possibly lose weight or adjust body composition, and maybe not doing 2+ hours of endurance activity per day.
Which
So you
I
want to
think
keep that in
whenever
mind.
we're speaking to the community
Yes,
here, largely
that's
people that are in the community
what they're
are
in.
looking to be as lean and fit as possible. And
Yes.
probably, I would venture to guess that pretty much everyone has like a sticky 10 pounds. Like if they could just get
Yes.
rid of that sticky 10 pounds, they'd be a happy person in their
Yes.
bikini. So, but
Exactly.
this, this is a lot more than just aesthetics. Like body composition or recomping is
Mm-hmm.
something that I think is like a term that is underutilized in the vernacular of like what's sexy and what's
Yep.
trending. Because I think really it's not necessarily about the number on the scale. I could give a shit what it says on the scale, truly.
Exactly.
I want to
Yes.
I want to have as much lean muscle as possible. Let me give you a little tip, everybody. If you're sitting, do you guys know what a resting metabolic rate is? When you're sitting still and you're on the couch and you have a higher amount of muscle mass in your body and you're just watching a movie doing absolutely nothing, your body is burning calories to stay alive. That resting metabolic rate is much higher the more muscle mass you have in your body. So if you're skinny fat and you're sitting on the couch, your resting metabolic rate is much lower. So basically what that means is for the girl out there that just wants the sexy body, the more muscle you can put on that body, the more calories you are just resting and burning. Okay? So
Yep.
there's nothing taboo or nothing, about having muscle
Oh,
mass.
it
We want muscle mass.
and as we age, it is so essential. It's the
Critical.
number one thing you need to do and worry about and care about as we age for functional strength. If you fall or something like the resiliency that you have, all of those things are influenced by how much muscle mass you have. Even your overall grip strength relates very closely to your longevity.
That's
So
crazy.
there's been studies about that too. So grip strength and overall muscle mass, these are the things we need to be worrying about as females, as males, really anybody who's aging, which is all of us. So we really
Right.
need to be thinking about that. Muscle is metabolically active, just like you said. It will burn calories. It will take up glucose that needs to come out of the system, that needs
Mhm.
to be taken care of. It will use it. And
Yep.
that's what we want.
That's
That's what we
so
want.
great. I always feel like, the old mentality was, well, just get on a treadmill for an
Right.
hour and eat a bowl of cereal for dinner. Like that's the worst advice,
Couldn't, could
strength
not be any
training. I'm
worse.
not saying don't do
Yes.
cardio. I'm just saying, prioritizing
Yes.
high protein and strength training at least 3 days a
Yep.
week is going to do way more for your physique and for your longevity than
Yes.
the old mentality of things. So,
That's true. So
well,
true.
just to
Absolutely
like
right.
touch on like how I have my binder set up and just like what it is and how I use it. So you can use it two different ways. You could crack this open and say, okay, for the next four
Yep.
weeks, I'm going to follow this with total fidelity and just see what happens. If you're looking to recomposition your body or maybe lose those sticky 10 pounds or see what it feels like to prioritize a high protein meal plan because, usually dieting leaves you hangry all the time and you're insufferable to be around. Like this will not do that. You won't be
You will
hungry.
not.
You will
You
not
will
be
not be
hungry.
hungry.
By prioritizing protein, you won't be hungry. But the way that Kim has set this up for us, it's so awesome. There's a couple of documents that you get when you download it that kind of, they all work together. So you've got your meal plan with your grocery shopping list and everything there, and then an accompanying recipe guide. So the recipes are right there. So
Yep.
you just look at the meal plan. I've got this, and this, and then
Yep.
you
Yep.
can search for the recipe and the recipe guide, and boom, there they are. I love keeping mine in page protectors because as I'm cooking and things, I can wipe them off, wipe them clean if it's in the kitchen and it's getting messy. The other thing is the other way to do this, once you kind of get past those first 4 weeks, let's say you did it and then you decided, hey man, these are my favorite recipes or these are the things that my kids really liked whenever I was cooking for them. Then you can just kind of pick and choose and say, okay, well, what do I want to make for dinner this week? Or what do I want to have? And
Mm-hmm.
for me, I don't eat beef and I don't eat pork. So for
Right.
me, it was easy to substitute, the proteins for
Yep.
something else, shrimp, salmon, fish. I eat all that stuff, chicken, turkey, I eat all those things. So don't let that deter you. Just make your substitutions. The other thing is I don't eat dairy, but there's always, I have dairy free options. So I eat like lactose free cottage cheese and almond milk, things like that. So
Right.
I know my body and I can make those substitutions too. So while this is not like keto or it's not like, uh,
Right.
vegetarian or anything specific like that. It is just like this is really made for the
It
masses.
is.
This is anybody who should be able to plug themselves into something like this and make their own little tweaks within reason,
Yep.
and be able to kind of curtail it in a way that's going to satisfy what their do's and don'ts are but still stay following along with it. And I
Yeah.
have to say, she created it in a way that the meals are only like 30 minutes or so to
Yep.
prepare.
That's
And
it.
a lot of times, what you have for dinner, you'll have a little left over for lunch the next day. So, in a busy lifestyle, that's really helpful. And then I also told her, I said, look, so many of the people that follow me are all like super busy moms who are
Yep.
providing, meals for not just for them, but for their families too. So, this has to be like stuff that kids are going to eat. It can't be just like obscure ingredients that are hard to
Right.
find, and it can't be any of that. So, really, it is such a good, easy download. She's included a bunch of extra little downloads along with
Hmm.
it. It's $28 for all these amazing downloads. So just you can click it, download it, use it, and like I said, with total fidelity, or just kind of pick and choose. Once you're like maintenancing,
Yes.
you can always it's just going to give you a good education on what and how to eat. And if you've never meal prepped before, this is a
Yes.
great way to just start and follow along. If you want
Hmm.
to meal prep on like a Sunday and a Wednesday, I would suggest a twice a week meal prep. Sometimes if you do it once a week, by the third or fourth day, you're like
Yeah.
that. It.
Doesn't sound good. You're like, oh, it's looking
It's
a
in
little
the
weird
fridge and
by
you're like,
now.
it's a little
Right. I like the twice a
slimy.
week as well. I think that's a great way to do it. I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's
It's so
kind
much
of how
good.
I use it. But what else do we have to add? But I want to get to some questions too. I know we had some people submit some questions. And then, of course, you guys can submit questions here live as well while we're talking if you're curious about anything regarding fitness. I mean, Kim's done it all. She's done it all. She's done it all, honey.
Oh,
Um,
being very kind, and thank you for the introduction too. And
yes.
I'm honored. It's a pleasure working with you.
Oh,
You're so inspiring. You're so much fun to be just watching what you're doing every day. So thanks for just being out there for us and representing women and being a voice and all of
oh,
those
thank
things,
you.
Katie, because you just are
Thank
fantastic. So I'm so
you.
thankful you're still in my life. We're still friends.
Yes.
So it's
Well,
amazing.
I
It's
have to
great.
say, a lot of times people would ask me, like, what do you eat? And I sheepishly was like, I don't really follow anything specific. And I definitely have my vices. You
Oh,
know what I mean? I was
for
never
sure.
like perfect. I don't
We don't
really eat.
expect that.
I don't eat fast food. Like, I don't eat. I can't even tell you the last time I had like McDonald's, probably a decade ago. I know that sounds crazy, but like, I'll eat Chipotle.
Yeah.
I'll eat Chipotle. Like,
Yeah.
I won't eat. I won't eat any kind of like cheeseburger, French fry. It just makes me sick.
Yeah. You don't
I
feel
can't do it.
well.
My
You don't
my
feel
my
well.
guts are they can't. I don't have the iron stomach that I used to have.
It's
But
yeah, the preservatives and all the
oh,
stuff. Yeah, exactly. So
anyway, it's just
it
not
appears
worth it.
people have to do it sometimes, and no shame, no
No,
shame in here.
yeah,
Just
once in a while, I feel like it's like you can test your body's tolerance for toxicity that way.
yes,
Like how good am I at filtering all this
right.
shit that I'm
Yeah,
about to give
sometimes it
myself?
doesn't go well, and it reminds you, and you're
You're
like,
like, yeah,
I don't think I'll do that
no.
again. I think I'm good.
But I think, the community kept asking me, like, what do you eat? What do you eat? And I'm like,
Right?
I'm not qualified to give this information. And I think that there is a lot of people on the internet
Oh yeah,
today that are giving advice that are not qualified. They don't have
absolutely.
a doctorate. They don't have a life experience of 30 plus years in performance athletics. They don't have, they weren't stationed with a professional football team saying care for these bodies, make sure they get adequate everything.
Yes,
So you are more than qualified to give this kind of advice. And I think that's another sort of cautionary tale that I'll put
agree.
out in there in the world, is like, I knew that I was getting the question, and I could have asked Chat GPT for an
Right.
answer and just given it up, but I was like, there's no way. I don't believe in that. I think that you have to go to somebody that has a good education and life experience
Right.
too, not just book smart. So
Yep.
Kim
Thank
truly
you.
has had it, understands every aspect of what we're talking about right now in a lived and plus she's a mom of two little girls.
Yes. No,
She's not trying to screw around and
I don't
making
have time. And we're the
right.
same as everybody else. You tell me sometimes you're on the way to
Oh,
practice and you're trying to, do this and that before you leave. And I'm mystified about how you do all this stuff. I don't think you sleep. I'm not sure. But you
well,
seem to
I'm
manage
gonna
it all and keep it all going. And I think that's where we're all, in essence, we're trying to do our best.
yeah,
Let's take the guesswork out of it. And I really want people to understand that eating whole foods is where it's at. You're not, even if you did this meal plan 80% of the time,
yeah,
you would see a difference.
you
That 80
would.
20 rule is true for this.
It
It really
is.
would. It would still make you have more energy. You would feel better. Like those types of things would happen. And then once you get it down down a little bit, then you can add more things. But success begets success.
Yes.
So get it down, get
Yes.
a few things going your way, and then add a walk to your day, do some of those kind of things too. And it really does make a
I
difference. You'll feel
think
better.
that all of the disciplines that we encourage ourselves to do in life is all just you making a promise to yourself that you're going to keep. And so it really does challenge you as a human being to say, are you a person of your word? Can you
Yep.
keep your word to you? Which is, we're our best friend for life here.
Sure.
We're the only ones spending all day and night with ourselves. And so, you know, I want to be somebody that somebody can rely on me, that I'm going to, whatever I say I'm going to do, I'm going to do. If Kim
Yep.
asked me to do something and she said it was important to her, of course I would move heaven and earth to try to make it happen. But will I do the same thing for me?
Right.
Right, and that's
Yep.
really when you boil it down, like the mentality of all of this. And I think I read this book called How to Do the Work by Nicole LaPera. She's like a mental health specialist. It's a great book. And she had a person that was like severely, like almost bedridden, a million different ailments, a million, like where to begin. This
Right.
person was like a shut-in, and she encouraged her to just begin each day by drinking a glass of water. Like, leave the water on your nightstand, and every morning when you wake up, before you do anything else, just drink the water. And one day turned into a week, which turned into 3 weeks, which turned into 6 months. And it was the simple act of doing something arbitrary turned into her saying, well, if I can do that for 3 months, what else can I do? And that's really such a good lesson in life to all of us. Is this is all about building trust with yourself, making promises to yourself to go to the gym or to eat healthy or to say no to the ice cream at night or whatever it is you making a promise to you. And at the end of the day, you have to live with yourself.
Yep.
So, but what that can unlock is if you just make one small change,
Yep.
that is exactly what Kim is saying. Success begets success. Like, it can open the door. It's the unlock to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And before you know it, you're doing really incredible. I mean, this woman ended up becoming like a professional, like, violinist. Like, the discipline to
Amazing.
become that. Like,
That's
after you're not
insane.
getting out the bed.
Holy
It's
cow, she
crazy.
drank a glass of water.
Right. All
That's
because of a glass of
amazing.
water. Isn't that a
Wow, that is so
crazy story?
cool. That is a crazy story, and it is. I believe those kind of things are exactly how it is. And actually, a lot of times, the Steelers, I would tell them, you also have to just get up in the morning and drink your glass of water. That was during our spring training and things like that, because they just weren't hydrating. So that is another key for this
Mm.
entire program and just life. Sometimes when you're hungry, you're thirsty. You're
Yes.
just
Oh my
dehydrated.
gosh.
You're
Drink the
just
water
in
first.
that state. Drink some water, yeah,
Wait
throughout the day. Like that should
10
be part
minutes
of
and then see
everybody's
how hungry you
plan.
are. Yeah.
Yeah, it
That's
really does
crazy.
help. It helps you make better nutrition choices and
Yeah.
just make sure you're feeling good. So
Yeah.
hydration is extremely important.
So do we want
Yeah.
to do some questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, I
If
have
you
a
can
personal
you read them
question.
to me?
What
Hopefully
type?
you can see them.
Oh, yeah.
Can you?
Well,
Okay, good.
I'll read them. I'll read. Well, the first question is just mine. And this has
Okay.
nothing to do with the meal plan. This is just me asking you, like, one busy chick to another.
Okay.
Okay, so half the time whenever I'm like super starving, it's because I've run myself out of time
Yes.
and I need to grab something quick. So in your purse, in your refrigerator, in your car,
Yes.
when you have what
Yes.
snacks that are good,
Mhm.
that are like literally grab and go, no prep, do you lean on? Is there a
Ooh.
specific type of bar you like? Is it just, do you bag up nuts? What is it?
Um, some of the things you just said. So I think having a pre-portioned amount of nuts, right around 17 or so for almonds, like right in that range. For it's kind of like just like a little,
Don't
a little tin
don't
full.
grab the can of
Don't
salty nuts. You'll
do
eat the whole
not.
thing,
You will eat
and
the whole
that's
thing.
like your calories for a week.
That's correct. She has it right. So you do need to think about portion size when you're thinking
Yeah.
about things like nuts. But almonds, walnuts have omega 3s in them. They're the highest nut in terms of omega 3s. So walnuts are great. Any of the, like, have a little amount of nuts and some other type of piece of fruit. An apple. Can you grab an apple that's already washed and go?
Yeah.
Can you grab an orange? Can you grab something like that? So a piece of fruit. Your goal is to have protein and fiber even on those snacks. Maybe it is a beef stick that has a reasonable amount of sodium in it,
Mhm.
although not for you because you don't eat
Well,
beef. You could do something
the
else.
chomp sticks make a turkey, and they're
Okay, I was just gonna say
tiny, and I
turkey.
love those.
Those are great. That's
Great.
perfect. Absolutely. I
So
mean,
eat
even
that
venison or
with
something.
of fiber.
Yes. So any protein with a fiber. So a fiber would be something like a vegetable or a fruit.
Okay.
So looking towards, yeah, something like that that can go with you. Bananas are good for you in terms of potassium. They are a little bit more carb
Yeah.
dense. So I would say if you're
Berries
leaning
are
towards
better.
what, yeah, what type of fruit, I would go with the berries, like we're
Some
talking about, you know,
people say
strawberries,
that like
raspberries,
berries, just because of the antioxidants, are like good to
and that
eat every
too.
day.
Yes, no,
Every
you're
day.
absolutely right. They're
Yeah.
fabulous. Blueberries, probably my number one antioxidant, included every day. Eat them every day. I challenge you to eat enough blueberry. You know, if you think to yourself, could I do this? Could I have some kind of snack? Blueberries, you know, if
So
that's your one thing you
I
add.
do have a good blueberry tip. So
Okay.
wild blueberries,
Yes.
this is the commercially like ones you see in the little pint things. The wild blueberries, there's a brand called Wyman's, and they're in the
Yes.
freezer section.
Yes.
And the bag is this bloody big.
It is.
They stain your hands the second you touch them. You can tell there's a difference in the nutrition in them, like the juiciness and
It's true.
the way they stain everything. Those blueberries are so good, and they are available year round. It's not seasonal. You're not going to pay through the nose. They're reasonably priced. That is the way to get your blueberries. You put them in your smoothies. I put them on my
Yep.
yogurt. I make dog food for my dogs, and I put it on that.
All
I mean, they love it.
right. I,
So I
those
know
dogs
my
are getting
dogs eat
great
like kids,
antioxidants.
little bastards. They eat like
You're like,
kids.
you're staying alive.
I
We're
know.
keeping you healthy.
No,
You don't have
I
a
do. I
choice.
make ground turkey, frozen chopped spinach, cottage cheese, and blueberries for my dogs. That's what they
I
eat.
love it. You're an
Nothing.
amazing dog mom. This does not
They
surprise me
eat
a
so good.
bit.
Anyway, but I think
Okay.
that that is a good
Yes.
blueberry tip in my opinion. And then always, 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 always buy organic strawberries.
Yeah.
Don't buy non-organic in the berry department. Those are toxic. They're like a chemical bomb. So if you're feeding your little kids strawberries that are not organic, I mean, I know you can't. It's not always. Look it up. Clean 15, dirty dozen. They're like the king of the dirty dozen. Is the strawberries.
And the very least,
They're full of
wash your fruit. Wash your
wash
fruit.
it.
Wash it. Wash it. You really do need to
I
wash your fruit
learned
and
the other day
vegetables.
that if you wash your bananas, they last a lot longer. They don't ripen as quickly because
I
they're
did not know
sprayed with
that.
something. They're sprayed
Okay.
with something to make them
Like stay.
ripe.
Yeah, stay
No,
longer.
yeah, to ripen quickly. So if you
Yeah.
wash it
Okay.
off,
Got it. They
it's
won't ripen as quickly.
no, they
Okay.
won't. They won't ripen as fast. So okay,
Very
so
cool.
that's my first
Yes.
question. So here's the second thing. Well, we
Okay.
did have a question from a viewer. If she's still here, I don't want to. It was she's got looking at she just started a high protein meal plan, and she's a perimenopausal woman, just started a high protein diet. Have you any advice for moving the meno tummy?
Ooh, I know exactly what she's talking about. And I've seen so many people asking about this, posts about this. I think the main thing here is, and this could get into a whole nother time where we could talk, is really, making sure that I know this sounds crazy, but I really think you need to be your own best advocate and do some hormonal
Yeah.
testing. I really do. I've actually been someone who decided to do some testing on my own to see where I was in this process, my FSH, my LH, my estrogen, where are things? I even tested my testosterone the other day because I was worried about that getting too low. So I really think being your own best advocate in terms of your testing and getting a good doctor that is interested in talking to you about these types of things. And then also movement, keeping movement either via steps, high enough, or just movement within your day, aiming for that 10,000 steps. So you do, burn calories that way, but then just sticking with the protein and fiber in that diet, in dietary
I would
changes
add
that you're
one more
making.
thing, and I'm
Yeah,
not
go
a
ahead.
doctor, so you can tell me to go to hell if this is
No, tell
not good
me.
advice. But I truly think that a lot of times when we're holding on to weight in certain areas, it can be like toxins.
Mm-hmm.
We're holding toxins. And so detoxing for me looks like getting in a I have a sauna bag. It's like it looks like a sleeping bag, and you sweat. So if you have the ability to go and sit in a sauna for a couple times a week while you're changing your body's makeup. You're
Mm-hmm.
prioritizing protein for the first time, but you also have to flush out and sweating is such a good, healthy way. It's so good for your mental health as well. Just sweating, even if you're
Yeah.
not like able to work out and hard to where you're generating a lot of sweat, but getting a good sweat going, red light therapy.
Yes.
I mean, these types, they're kind of alternatives, but also I take a supplement that's it's called Deep Talk Plus. It's a Korean gut health
Hmm.
microbiome supplement. It will make you poop like a lot. You have to be careful.
I should have
Um,
said that too. The microbiome is extremely important at this stage of
well,
life, and it changes a lot through
it does.
perimenopause and menopause.
Yes.
I've been listening to some great podcasts
Yeah.
about that, and so it's really, it's diet is key, exercise is key, and things what you're talking about as well
Yeah.
with the probiotics.
Yeah, I
Key.
just think it almost it's like a they look like little fish food, and they don't start the fiber in them doesn't start absorbing until it actually hits your stomach versus a powder that starts, you know, right away.
Got it.
And so there's something there that it really is actually meant to help you with your skin, because when your gut is clean and healthy, your skin responds. Your skin's your largest
It's
organ,
true.
which is how I kind of got into it. But as far as like if you have poor motility, if you're not going every day, this will help you go. And by regulating a lot of those things in combination with good feeding your
Hmm.
body, good healthy food, you might lose some of that belly
Yeah.
that way.
Yep, I think
So
so too. And I want to say I feel like I'm combating that right now as well. Two
yeah,
kids and all the
yeah,
things. So I'm just doing, I'm doing deep core work and trying to keep all of my pelvic floor strong and
yeah,
doing all those types of things as well, because as we get older, it's just really important. So
yeah.
we don't want to ignore those things. We want to make sure we're still focusing on those when we can.
Okay, good question. Thank you
It
so much
was.
for the question. If you
Thank
guys
you.
have other questions, put them in the chat, and but I'm going to go to these ones here. Okay, is it okay to eat at bedtime?
Yes, and I was going to tell you that the snacks that we have provided through the meal plan
Mm-hmm.
are actually fabulous pre-bed snacks. So you can have these if you're someone who's like, I
Give
need a
them
two
one
to
example. Give them one
um
example.
there is a Greek yogurt with berries.
Mm-hmm.
Not hard, easy, super, just super important in terms of calcium and protein and all those things. But there have been studies that have shown that you do not change your own ability to oxidize fat overnight by having a snack before bed. AKA, it does not add fat to your body
Yeah,
by having a high protein snack prior to sleep. So you do not have to worry about that. Not only that, it adds to your overall protein intake for the day, which is oftentimes an issue. So
yeah,
people don't get enough during the day. So this is another opportunity. If you're working out, it actually allows you to synthesize more amino acids into muscle mass overnight.
yeah.
So yeah, any kind of casein or dairy protein, which I know you don't eat, but is good before
No, but
bed.
I'm doing
But other
my
proteins as well.
kids.
Yeah,
My son Luke is trying to put 20 pounds of muscle on this summer. He's a high school junior, and he's gonna need to eat casein at night
he
in the way
is.
in like a muffin
Yep,
or a bake. The cool thing about casein, you can bake with it. You can
you
make
can.
cookies, and,
Yep,
you know,
yep,
brownies
exactly.
and all kinds of
So
things. So
yeah, absolutely. Have the snack before bed, especially because it doesn't even impact your hunger the next day. It's not like it makes you more hungry. It doesn't impact the cortisol or the other peptides that would make you more hungry, like ghrelin, etc.
right,
So you're good to go. Eating before bed is okay. So in this
okay,
case, that was
I
that
love
was
that.
a while ago. People, oh my gosh, you can't eat before bed. You can if it's the
Yeah.
right thing. You can.
Is it okay to sleep 8 hours? I'm 45 years old. I think that's a champion
I
level of
agree.
sleep.
I think you're
I wish
doing
I could sleep eight
amazing.
hours.
Please keep doing it.
I
You're
I
awesome.
I have an aura ring, and I tried 1 month to track just the number. It was just a checking off in a calendar month if
Same.
I could sleep more than 7 hours, 20 days, and I couldn't do it.
I know.
Isn't that
Same.
crazy when you really start tracking it? I'm like, I
Yeah.
just want to sleep more than seven 20 of the days of the month, and I couldn't do it. I mean, I've tried months and months and months. I've come close a few times, like 16, 17 days,
Yeah.
but sleep is
It,
so
it's
important. It's
it
so
is.
important.
It is. It helps you make better choices during the day,
Mhm.
repair,
Mhm.
all the things you need,
Mhm.
skin health, everything.
Mhm. Mhm.
Cognitive function,
So
fabulous.
I was going to ask a question also. There's one here about coffee, and then I'm just holding up my Starbucks drink here because I have one in my hand. So what about coffee?
My thought on
What is your
coffee
thought?
is that coffee can add a lot of calories because of the fact that they add all the sweeteners and everything to it. If you're getting coffee out, I love being in control of my own coffee.
Yes.
So if it's possible, on average, if it's possible to have your own homemade, version of coffee that
Cheaper
you can
too.
control, yeah, your Keurig or whatever it is you go with, that you can control what type of sweetener you're using and how much. Are you using any other dairy items or other creamers or things like that, and how
Mhm.
much? That really allows you to help control some of the calories and
There's
sugar
so
intake of your coffee.
many hidden monsters.
Yes.
You know, I'm a non-dairy girl, so I'm like almond milk that I buy
Yes.
in the thing. Almond milk is like 30 calories per
Yep.
cup. Has a good amount of calcium in it, so I like it. I
Yep.
use Silk
That's
Brand
great.
vanilla unsweetened, and I love it.
Yep.
But if you're out and they're like, we're out of almond milk, we'll use oat milk instead. Holy shit. That oat milk,
Not no
oh my
dates, huh?
God, it's like 200
Yes.
calories per cup because it's sweetened
Yes.
and you gotta watch. There's a
You
lot of hidden
do.
monsters out there in the milk
In the
world.
market,
So you
yes, in
have to
those
watch.
arenas. It's
Yeah.
true. And some of those coffees out will be up to 50 grams of sugar
Oh,
and up to 350 calories or 400 calories. It's like a
I'm
meal. And I just don't want to
sorry,
give,
the
I'm not
Dunkin'
willing to give
Donuts
up a meal.
situation. Oh
Yeah.
wow. Some of
I'm
those
not willing to
Dunkin'
give up a
prices.
meal for coffee.
Yeah.
I've been actually doing mushroom coffee lately and I've been loving it. So,
Tried that.
I just feel like it's better on my gut right now and I'm just
Yeah.
going with it.
Yeah.
So, I never
Yeah.
thought I'd do it and I'm just really enjoying it and it still gives me a little bit of caffeine and I just feel like maybe overall my gut feels a little bit better and I can go
Always
work out right afterward. So,
I always
might
felt
want to take
like,
a look at it.
oh, go
Yeah.
work out after. I love that
Mhm.
too. I feel like I would love to be a black coffee drinker. I just don't think I have it in me.
No, I don't have it in me either.
Of
I can't
all
do it.
the vices, like I just leave me alone with my
I
coffee. I
totally
need it how I
understand.
need it, you know, like
Yes,
anyway.
it's part of who you
Uh,
are. You're fine. Let's
yeah.
let's focus on other things you want to work on, That's all I say to people who are
If
asking about those kind of
you
things.
if you had to give people advice on do you prioritize a good workout routine or eating? Which if you're like, hey man, I'm fat, sick, and nearly dead, and I have to start with one promise before you can't eat the whole elephant,
Yes, you
all at
can.
once.
You're
You'll
right. I would say nutrition because honestly, the studies have been done where there's a calorie deficit with one group via nutrition and one group via working out and exercise. And the group with nutrition loses more weight, loses more fat as part of that weight.
wow.
And they maintain it better. Whereas the exercise group tends to try to get into the deficit and then exercise by its very
Makes you
nature. And
hungry.
this is sad. It makes you hungry. It actually turns up it turns up ghrelin, it
Yeah.
turns up, the
I'm
hunger
telling you,
hormones and cortisol. It does that.
a
It's what
heavy
it
lift
does.
day will make you into a ravenous monster.
Yes, where you will hopefully eat protein.
Right.
Yeah, I know what I mean. It's hard, but
Yeah,
that's exactly what you should do. And it's I still rather people if they can do both, but if you can only do one, you need to work on nutrition.
I
That
love it.
whole abs are made in the kitchen. I'm not saying abs. I don't. Overall, your health is
Well,
made in the kitchen. So start
my
there.
my mentality was always work out first. I'm glad that you addressed
Yeah.
this because I think for me, uh,
Hmm.
putting the effort in the gym always influenced the decisions I made in the kitchen.
Yes,
Meaning,
I understand.
I'm not gonna go treat myself with the bowl of ice cream because I just work so hard. So for me,
Hmm.
it always began in the gym and then came into the kitchen. But the reason for that was because my mentality around the food was
Right,
starvation. I'm starving.
right.
I'm going to be a complete bitch to everybody I know because I'm hangry all the time.
Hmm.
And that starvation and sacrificing and that it was not going to be, whereas I felt like I deserved to eat my food. It wasn't punishment. And therefore it just made more sense to me. But if you follow this, you're not going to be hungry. It kind of completely uh, takes that mentality that dieting means starving
Yes,
off the table completely, and you don't have to suffer through that.
yes.
So I think it's really
And I
important.
And I also say to people, you never have to earn your
No,
food. I don't care what this is, what you're thinking, what you've been taught. You don't have to earn your food. We need to change the narrative. The narrative is I feel good and fueled and happy, and that allows my body to do amazing things. That I have energy, all those types of things. Because some of these, I see this. Oh, if you right around Christmas time or whatever, if you eat 3 Christmas cookies, you have to go walk 2 miles.
oh
No,
yes, true
no,
that.
we're not going to
I
earn
think
our food. We're going to make
the same can
decisions
be said
and then
for working out
yeah,
and the mentality around working out. Like
it
it's
is.
not punishment.
No.
You're your ability to go to a yoga class or to go outside for a bike ride or to go play pickleball, or
Yep.
that is your body rewarding you with its ability to move and to
That's
the
right.
ability to go live life. So like to me, moving and having getting to move, getting to get up out of bed every day is such a gift that it's like this is a gratitude moment, not a punishment.
Yes.
And that's really
Yes.
where you can find a lot of joy. But I will say, like, most people that are just starting out working out, they're like, oh, I hate running and I feel like I have to. No, you need
No,
to go try
do
as
something
many different
else.
things as possible to figure out what's going to make you happy. Because if
That's
it's
right.
not going to make you happy, you ain't going to do it, honey. So
That's
if a
right.
dance class makes you happy, but you hate playing pickleball, or you know what,
I
whatever it is,
do.
like you have to stay in the lane of what's going to spark joy. Otherwise,
Yes.
there's no you're not
Yes.
going to stick with it. So,
Absolutely true. If you don't want to train for 5K, don't train for 5K. If you
absolutely
know
not.
you need to find what works for you.
Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
I completely agree with that. And some people it's just steps and they track it and they're like, I hit my steps for the day. Good,
Yeah,
great job. That's I also say to people, something is better than nothing. Something. If you have
definitely.
20 minutes to go out and walk, it's better than nothing. Don't be
Walking
so
is the
hard on yourself.
most
Oh,
undervalued and
yes.
underrated form of exercise.
Yes, it is. And you can do
So
it.
good
You
for
can start there. You
you.
can do it. Yeah, it's
I have a
amazing for you.
girlfriend. Her name's Denise Wiggins, and she's such a badass. She lives in like outside of Philadelphia. She has just walked 1,000 days in a row. She walks between 6 and 15 miles a day.
Goodness, that's
A lot of
amazing.
times, sometimes 20 a day.
Oh my
She
gosh.
is obsessed with walking.
So cool.
She's like, I've walked, and like her post about celebrating her 1,000th day. Do you know how many years that is? It's like, well, it's almost four
Is that what
years.
it is?
It's crazy.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
crazy.
Well,
It's
I've
amazing.
heard of running streaks and now I've heard of a walking streak
Yeah.
and I love it
And she
because
lost
she
like
crosses off each
150.
day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she lost like 150 pounds like several years ago, and that put her on the walking thing. And walking is like her. It's like her love language. It's her
Oh, I love it.
meditation time, her prayer
Mm-hmm.
time. She's like, I've walked on 4 continents. I've walked on
Oh,
a cruise ship. I've walked on a mountaintop. I've walked,
yes.
I've walked by the sea. I've walked with my kids. I've walked
Mm-hmm.
the post was so beautiful.
Oh,
And again, that's just about finding what gives you that what lights you up inside is so important to find that. So
that's
we
so
do
true.
have another menopause question here. I'm going into
Okay.
menopause. How does it affect the calories I consume?
Well, overall, I think this ties back to muscle mass, just like you're talking about earlier, Katie, is that we are losing some as time goes on, unless we are trying to maintain it through resistance training.
Mm-hmm.
So I would not say menopause itself directly impacts calories, more so that your muscle mass is going down. At times, your overall, health and metabolism and things like that are changing. So,
Mm-hmm.
we have less eggs in the ovary, a lot of signals are changing in terms of those hormones like FSH and LH and all those types of things. So I do advocate for getting some testing done and seeing what's going on in there and talking to your doctor and make sure that you're replacing what you need to replace. And because actually estrogen inhibits the osteoclasts that break down bone. So when
Mm-hmm.
we start losing estrogen, we actually start allowing those osteoclasts to start gobbling more bone
Oh,
than they should be.
you
So
have to be your
unfortunately,
own advocate.
you
If
do. You
you
do.
feel
And a lot
like
of
you're getting stonewalled by your doctor or you're not, you say, I want the test. Give me the
that's
fucking
correct.
test.
That's
Just tell
correct.
them.
I mean, there's a whole generation of women who were told, sorry, you're just in menopause. I hope you can figure it out. Like, I
Yeah,
hope everything
sorry
will be
about
fine. Sorry about night sweats. Sorry about your life falling apart. You feel terrible. You don't have any
the
energy.
brain fog.
Yes,
Yeah.
all of it, all of it. So see
No.
your doctor, see what you need to do there, because that's probably a basis for how you're going to feel, and then from there the resistance training will address some of the muscle mass loss, and that will allow you to be able to increase that metabolic rate that will then allow you to eat the calories that would be normal for that time period, based on your
And
activity and
don't
age and all
worry.
those kinds of
This meal plan is not anything that's going to bulk you up.
no,
No.
impossible,
You don't have to
literally
worry about
impossible.
bulking.
Impossible.
We need the more the better.
Yes, it's
Literally.
true. I mean, it's literally, I've heard researchers say it's physiologically impossible for women to bulk without some sort of
There
outside
Totally.
elements such as
Yeah.
steroids, extra testosterone. It's a normal, body without those things for women is impossible to bulk. It's
Yeah.
really not going to happen. For
Yeah.
you, from you lifting and eating more protein, no. And protein is fine for your kidneys. That whole thing was a crazy, like, I don't know where it came from, but it's not true.
Yeah.
So you're fine to eat protein unless for some reason you have some kidney disorder, in which case see your
Yeah.
doctor. But for the most
Yeah.
part, everybody is fine to eat protein. It is, you're going to be able to discard it just fine. And what's also interesting is there's no reservoir for storing protein. Your body either uses it or you excrete it.
Mhm.
So where fat you store, carbs you also store. Protein, good luck. You cannot store it. You
You're a
you will
sieve.
not.
You're a complete sieve
You're a
for it.
complete sieve
Yeah.
for it. Your
Yeah.
body will use it in the way, yes, it's calories, but you become satiated way before you've eaten too many protein
Yeah.
calories. You really do. So
Yeah.
that, people get worried about that too. And it's not going to make you gain weight. It's just not.
All the more reason to again advocate for a weightlifting prior, like we need to
Yes.
prioritize protein intake and we need to prioritize weight training, which
Yep.
is something that women just do not. There's another question here about full menopause woman here.
Okay.
Everything I used to do to drop the extra pounds so that I can fit in my clothes does not work anymore. Tips, guidance. Well, if those things that you were doing before were prioritizing low calorie but
Mm-hmm.
not high protein, and that you were on a treadmill or a bike or just doing cardio until
Yep.
your eyeballs are falling out of your head, it's not, no wonder it's not working. It's like if you lifted with somebody or got onto a little bit of a programming, and Kim and I keep talking about putting out some
We
programming
do.
too,
We do.
especially for our menopausal women. Like I have a
Yes.
huge community of you guys here that are, we're right there
Yeah.
with you. I'm 47. I'm
We're
already
in it.
starting to get the feels, I'm there. So is Kim. We're the same age.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a real thing. So I just think, like, again, those two things, if you could focus
Yep.
all your attention on strength training and high protein, just start with that.
Yep.
You will see changes. You will
I
see
agree.
major changes in your body. And again, advocating for yourself to get all those blood work and all those hormones
Mm-hmm.
tested. And the thing that's so crazy about hormone panels is they fluctuate all the time. So it's
They
like
do.
you're just playing chess in the dark sometimes. You need
Yes,
repeat labs over
you
a
do.
period of time. You need to have baseline labs done, and then you repeat them and repeat them and repeat them so that you can get a clear picture about what's really going
That's
on.
true. And there's a lot of companies out there where you can do this yourself. If you're not getting
Yes.
what you need from your
Yes.
doctor, there's several that I have used. Everywell is one of them. There's Inside Tracker. There's a couple of them will do female specific panels.
Yep.
So, and this is not sponsored. I'm not being paid. Nobody's
Yeah.
being paid.
Yeah.
These are just things that I've done because I was convinced I was going through perimenopause and people thought I was crazy. And I tested my own levels and I was.
Yeah.
My FSH was very high, which means the follicle stimulating hormones like release the egg. And your body's like, there's no egg, there's no egg. And so it just keeps driving it higher and higher. So
Yeah.
after listening to podcasts and looking at research papers, I was like, I'm in it. So I took that
Mm.
to finally to a female health specialist. And she's like,
Mm.
you are in it. You need some
Yes.
estrogen replacement. And you don't want to miss out on that time period where you can replace estrogen if you need to, because you will lose bone mass during
Yeah.
perimenopause
Yeah.
if you don't really take care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think our time is about up here. Mama Souza added, 60-year-old here, must drink water, ladies. It's a magic pill. It is a magic pill. And Mama Souza, I did see your earlier comment about the Deep Talk Plus. I screenshotted your account, so I'll send you a link about the gut health thing. So thank you for your comments. Guys, thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for tuning in. We hope you'll take advantage of this awesome tool and resource that Kim was so awesome to provide to us. We're going to keep providing more and more iterations of this meal plan guide. So just if you end up purchasing it now, in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, it could be double the size with more recipes added. We added more recipes
We
from
did.
last year to this year,
Mm-hmm.
and the price went up because it's a more robust download now than it was before. But you guys, if you get it now, you're locked in for life. So every iteration from now on, you're going to get all the new recipes and all the new downloads every single year whenever we make a new one. So we're committed to trying to answer
We
these
are.
questions for you guys and be a tool and a beautiful resource resource for you. Like I said, we just don't even deserve Kim and the mind that she brings to this and the holistic viewpoint of everything, having been a professional athlete herself, having trained and fed professional athletes. She's a college professor. She's got 2 little kids. I mean, there could not be someone more qualified, with more acumen and pedigree to do this than her. So, and there's a lot of shit on the internet, y'all, that
There
you should
is.
not be
I
listening
will agree with
to.
that.
So I feel so good about bringing Kim to you guys and really answering. And we'll do another Q&A like this real
Yeah,
soon. So thanks so
I loved
much,
it.
Kim, for being here.
Yes, thanks for having me, Katie, and thanks for doing this for everyone and for getting all these people together to do something positive. So thank you.
You bet. Okay, girl. We'll talk
All
soon.
right, take care,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
See ya.